Hello everyone, welcome back to the second video of your SQL. So let's continue our learning. In the last class, we discussed about basics, fundamental concepts of database. In that we have seen the difference between data and database, then two different types of database and the different types of DBMS as well. So let's take one quick recap of last class and then we'll start with the new concepts. Okay. So we understood why data is so much important into the IT industry because our entire IT industry is driven by data only. If we remove data from these applications are dead only, useless. Okay. So data is the main fuel for all these applications. So that's why we have seen the great mathematician made the statement that data is a new oil. So it is acting like a oil for our IT industry. Okay. Okay, understood. Then we have seen how we can collect the data. We can collect the data through forms. But only collecting the data is not our aim. Whenever we are collecting the data, we have to organize it. Otherwise, we cannot find the information from that data. So that huge amount of data YouTube is collecting and number of videos, so many users are uploading. See how well YouTube has organized that data. If you ask for some data, within a fraction of second, you will get that data in return, correct? So the importance of data we have seen in the last class. This is the difference between collection of data and this is the organization of data in which we have organized the data into tabular structure. So this tabular structure, whenever we are using to organize our data, this is what we call it as relational database. Correct, right? So databases will be divided into two parts, relational database and non-relational database. So if table you are seeing, that is relational database. Okay, do remember. If you want to create the relational database, you have to make use of RDBMS software. Okay. So by using this RDBMS software, we can create the relational database. We can manipulate the data as well. Means we can update the data, delete the data, and so on. Okay. On the other hand, we have a NoSQL database, non-relational database, where we don't have any predefined structure. Okay. Let's say this is the raw data. So if you want to organize into tabular structure like this in the hard disk, if you want to store the data permanently in tabular structure, you have to make use of RDBMS software to store this organized data like this. So the language which we will be using to communicate with our RDBMS, that language only we call it as a SQL. Okay, only with RDBMS we can communicate. Relational Database Management Software. These RDBMS softwares will help us to create tables, relational database. This table itself is your relational database. Okay. Okay. Then we have seen the difference between data and database. Then relational and non-relational database. Here we have a predefined structure. Here we have a flexible structure. Then we have seen RDBMS used to manage relational database. Non-relational database means NoSQL used to manage non-relational databases means flexible schema. We will be having graphs, charts. These documents comes under non-relational database. Okay. So today we are going to understand the managing part of the data. See, we are saying we will be learning MySQL, RDBMS, Relational Database Management Software. Management means what? So this management word is divided into two parts. Managing database means storing the data permanently into our hard disk. Managing means store it permanently into hard disk and retrieve the data efficiently. So whenever YouTube is collecting the videos from us, YouTube will store it into the database permanently, properly organize it. And then whenever you will ask for that data, it will retrieve very efficiently. It will give it to you. Retrieve means taking the data from database and return. So two things, managing means two things only. Take the user data, store it permanently in the hard disk, properly organized way. Whenever user will ask for some specific data, take it from the database, return to the user. So whenever I'm using managing word means these two things we have to understand. So today we are going to cover this first thing, storing the data permanently in the hard disk, guys. We will create the tables in our hard disk. Okay. So we are going to use MySQL database for sure. So MySQL will allow to create the tables like this. Look here, everyone. First, we have to create a database in MySQL. Okay, let's assume we have created the university database. Database in the sense, see, your relational database means, of course, table only. But in one project, we will be having multiple objects. For example, let's say I'm creating one application in which I'm going to store the trainers, teachers data, student data, let's say placement data, okay, parents data, and so on. So for parents, I will create one table. For students, one more table. For teachers, one more table. For subjects, one more table. So all these tables are related with one project only, right? So under that project, we will create all these tables. So first you create the project. That project, we call it as a database. First you create the database. In that you create tables, small tables related with that database. For example, let's say we have created the university database like this. Now inside this, we will create the student table, teachers table, subject table, multiple tables we can create inside this university database. Now for this table, we will give the column names and we will store the data row wise. First row, then second row, then third row. We will not insert the data column wise. First, let's give all the names. Then let's give all the student IDs. Like that, we won't insert the data. Row wise. Again, I will show how the process will be. First, create the database. Then inside that, create the table. These are the column names. Row by row by row, we will insert the values. This is how we are going to create the table in our hard disk, guys. Certainly, you cannot open the hard disk and store the data like this. So who will help us? RDBMS software will help us. So let's open my RDBMS software. Under RDBMS, we have MySQL, Oracle, Postgre, SQLite, but we are going to use MySQL. Once you learn the syntax of SQL, guys, you can use that SQL language with MySQL also, with Oracle also, with Postgre also, with SQLite also. Slight differences will be there, but almost syntax is similar only. Okay. So let me open the MySQL software. See, in the description, I have given two links. One link where you will learn how to install MySQL, download and install. Second link, there you will learn how to remove MySQL from your system and how to reinstall it. Because many students might be facing the issues like server stopped, or maybe you forget the username, the password. So at that time, you just remove MySQL end to end from your system and reinstall it. Okay, re-download, reinstall. So both the links I have shared in the description. If your MySQL is not working well, go to that description. Different videos I have given, guys. So whichever the solution works, try it out and fix the bugs, whatever you are facing. And open the workbench like this. How to open this workbench? See, go to the Windows once you install MySQL. Click on the workbench. See, MySQL workbench. I'll double click on this. Now you will be having only one user. I have two users. Multiple users. You will be having only one user root, which is running at port number 3306, default port number. I will double click on this. It might ask you to give the password. Give the password. If you drag, just see, these are the two fingers on your cursor. Just drag like this. Okay, drag. So it will increase the font size. Okay, just drag. If I drag, it will decrease the font size. Increase or decrease, very easily you can work with this. Okay. Now in the result set, you will be getting the output. But before that, you can go to the view, edit, preferences. Then go to the fonts and colors and the result grid font, give it as 15. I will give it 15. Okay, this is a font size. Click on OK. That's all. So now you can see three icons. This side you have three icons. If I click here, that side, it will close. If I click here, you can see bottom side, it has closed. But if you need the SQL additions, the navigator, everything, so you can click like this. See, this is the output section. This is navigator. And this is SQL additions. So if you don't need, just click and close. See, Just click and close. Okay, that's all simple. So we need this two active, SQL Navigator and SQL output section. Okay. So now you can check multiple databases are running in my case. In your case, there might be no database, or by default you might got Sakila database, then some sys, okay, and so on. So now we are going to create our first ever own database. So I'll just create it. Create database. See, I am communicating with my MySQL software. MySQL create the database. Okay, what is the name of your database? We will give the database name as, let me check multiple database names I have. I will give the database name as Job Ready Coders, or only Coders I will write. Okay, Coders. This is my database name. I will hit enter. I guess Coders database is already exist in my case. You can check. So just give me a second. I will quickly delete that database. So if you want to delete, just write drop database name. So it has deleted the database. Okay. So now again we will create it. See, here can you check database got created, database got deleted. If the query got failed to execute, you will get cross mark. Okay, as simple as. If you want to clear this, right click, clear everything. You can take the cursor here, drag, drop. Okay. Now database is ready, but where is coders? Just refresh it. See, you got the coders. Now inside your hard disk, actually multiple databases are present. Multiple are present. See, I have a books DB, code, coders, company details, demo. Multiple databases are running into my hard disk. So if you directly tell, create the table in the database, which database? It should create the table in company, in coders, in code, in company details, which database? So we will tell use coders database. So out of multiple database, it will target coders database. So see how to execute query. Select the part of query and then click on this. Only that part we have to select. Okay. So you can check this database. I got it in bold. So whichever the database name is in bold, that database is under use. So after this, whatever the table creation queries you will write, everything will happen in the same database. So if you write use a database name, then this database is under use. Okay. Okay. Next. Here, we will write show tables. I'll execute. See, tables in coders database, we don't have any table inside this coders database. So let's create our first ever table into the database. Okay. So I'll just write it here. Create table. What is the table name? Let's say the table name is course. Okay. Or we will write it here subject. Table name is subject. You can give any other name as well, whatever you want. Okay. Now inside this table, see, I have used the brackets. Okay. Inside this, you have to give the column names. How many columns you want for your table? Create table. Table name is subject. So I'm talking to the DBMS. DBMS, you create the table. DBMS is asking what is the name? I have told name is subject. Now DBMS will ask how many columns you have. I have a subject ID, integer data type, int. Next, I have a subject name, varchar of, let's say 20. Length is a 20. That's all. I will give the semicolon here. Table creation query is done. First time if you are creating the table, don't get panic. You will become expert in this. Okay. So just follow the steps. Now I'm going to select this part of the query. And here we will click and we'll execute. Table got created. Really? Let's see. Again, I will execute show tables. I'll click here. Can you see? Now I have a subject table present into my coders database. Subject table is present now. Okay. So successfully we created the structure ready into the database. Now inside that we have to insert the values as well. Okay. So before that, I'll just write one query. Select everything from, what is our table name? Subject. I'll execute this. Now see, table structure is ready with the two columns, subject ID and subject name. So by using SQL queries, you are communicating with your RDBMS, and accordingly inside the hard disk, this is present now, where inside your system storage, this table structure is present now. Okay. Okay. Now next, I want to insert the values into this table. See, there is no record present. Okay. So I'm going to write it here, insert into, what is the table name? Subject values. So what is the first value? See, the sequence of column, first subject ID and then subject name we have. In the similar way, what is subject ID? 101. What is subject name? I'll write the subject name Python. Second row, see comma, here only I will write second row 102. What is the subject name? Let's say SQL. Third row, subject ID 103. What is the subject name? I'll just write the subject name as a testing, semicolon. That's all. 3 records I want to insert. Now I'm going to select this part of the query and will execute it. Really the values rows got inserted or not? Let's check. Select everything from subject. Yes, table is ready, guys. Table is ready with the 3 rows. So how you have organized the data? See, inside your hard disk, the data is present in tabular structure like this. This is what we call it as organized data. So we were having the data like this. We organized it into rows and columns. Okay. So now let's understand this language. Whatever the queries we have written, let's understand about the queries. See here. Your queries will be always divided into commands and clauses, or you can call it as a keywords. Okay, what does it mean? Let's start with first query. All things are, see, this is one query. This is another query, third query, fourth query, fifth query, sixth query. Query, like how in programming languages we have instructions. In SQL, we have a query, Q-U-E-R-Y, query. Okay. Now, I'm telling to the DBMS, RDBMS, create. Now, for RDBMS, everything is object. So, RDBMS is asking what type of object should I create? If you'd have learned object-oriented programming language, guys, whenever you want to create the objects, first you have to define the blueprint, student type ka object or employee type ka object. We will be having blueprint, right? So here it will create, but what to create? What is the type of object? Database. You create the database. What is the name of object? For every object name is must. The name is coders. So create one object, database type, and the name is coders. So it will create one big container in your hard disk. Under that database, create subject table. What is the syntax of table creation? Opening bracket, closing bracket, column name, data type, comma, column name, data type. After this column name, do we have one more column name? No. So comma is not required. Okay. This is the syntax. Do remember the syntax. Create. What to create? Table. Name, table name. We have to use this circular brackets. Inside this, column name, data type. Column name, data type. Now, what in all the data types we have, we will explore it later, guys. Int means integer values you can store. Varchar means variable characters. Okay, why varchar? What is the meaning, use case? In the upcoming videos, we will learn. 20 is the maximum length. So here you can see testing. In this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters I have. Maximum 20 characters you can give into the second column. So see, we have a predefined structure. If I execute the query, we have a predefined structure, subject ID and subject name. Only that much you can store. Can you store subject marks? No, marks column is only not there. So this is what we call it as relational database. Clear, everyone? Okay. So now next part, see, create query is done. Database, create a table is done. Syntax is done. Sure, first you write use database name. After that, whatever the query you will execute, that will be executed on this database only. It will ignore all other databases. See, what in all the databases we have, it will ignore everything. Which database is under use? Coders. So if you write show tables, it will show all the tables running inside coders. If you tell create a table, it will create inside coders. Okay? Okay. So now I'm telling select. Select is a command, like how create, update, delete. In the similar way, select is a command. It will select. What to select? This asterisk means all columns you select. Okay. From which table? Subject table. So inside subject table, what in all the columns you have, it has selected. If you tell no, you select only subject ID column. I'll execute. See, only subject ID column we got. If you tell no, only subject name column you select from subject table. So see, only this part you have to select and you have to execute like this. Okay. So you can drag and you can check the full output like this. Okay. So this is the subject name. So here we will tell select. After that, column names. What columns you want to select? From which table? So select is a command. Command means we are giving the instructions. Select it, create it, delete it, drop it, insert it. Okay. Now in this we have a keyword also, from. From is not a command, guys. It is just a clause. Clause will always support your commands. So now here you check. I'm telling select. Select from where? From which table? So from clause is supporting your command. So that's why clause means clause are the keywords which supports the commands. See, from is not a command because, see, if I tell you select, at least something you will understand, okay, I need to select. What to select and all, later we will check. If I ask you update, you will get to know, okay, updation operation. I will tell delete, you will get to know, okay, deletion operation. I will tell you create, you will get to know, okay, creation operation. I will tell you from. What is from? Is from operation? No. So this from is not a command. It is a keyword. The keywords which supports your actual commands, we call them as a clause. So within commands, inside these commands, in this query, whatever the keywords you are using, that is, all keywords are clause, guys. In the similar way, see, in this create, what to create? Table. So table, again, you can call it as a clause. Okay, it is a type of object actually. Table is a type of object. What to create? Table type of object. What is the name of table? Subject. Like that it is. Okay. So now here you can check insert. What is insert? Command or clause? Insert. Insertion operation. Command it is. Into is into operation. I'm telling you into. Into, what is into operation? Into is a keyword. You can call it as a clause. Subject is a table name. Values is a keyword again, which is helping your command. Okay. So insert into subject table. Values are, see, in first opening and closing, I have given the values for first row. In second opening closing brackets, I have given the value for second row. Third opening and closing bracket, value for third row. Again, you don't give the comma here. After this, you don't have any other row. So semicolon. Terminate. Semicolon means terminate the query. Like how in programming you have given semicolon, terminate the instruction statement. In the similar way, semicolon means terminate the query. Clear? So three things you need to remember here. Three commands. Create database. Use the database. So under out of multiple databases, this database is targeted. You can check, it is in bold. Show tables. Tables which are running inside the database. Create a table. Insert the values and select the table. So if I again execute this, I will be getting the same out. Again, don't try to execute this. You will get error. Why? Because subject table is already exist. See, like this, you will get the error. Subject table already exists means If I refresh this, I will go to the tables. See, can you see subject table is already present. So again, if you tell under coders, you create one more table with the name subject, not allowed. Inside one database, only one table will be present with that name. Okay. Clear everyone how to create the tables, how to insert the values. So all these queries, whatever I have executed, you will be getting in the description in one document. You can copy, paste, and you can practice with this. Okay. So now let me show you how these queries will be executed through one simple presentation. Almost part we have discussed. Okay. Okay. Look here, everyone. This is the university database under which student table they have created. Now next. Same thing again. Okay. Now let's say we have this table, student table. Inside the student table, we have 4 columns: student name, student ID, student date of birth, student age. How to create this table? We will discuss about it later, guys. Okay. So now I have written this query. Select student name from student. So what is the output? This is the output. But how this query will be executed? Let's understand. See, this is the table. Whenever you are writing select, DBMS will get confused. Select. From where should I select? Okay, you should tell from student table. So out of multiple tables, it will target that one table with the name student. Okay. Now what to select? You select student name from student table. So whole table it is not targeting now. Only student name column it is targeting. Now you will execute this query. If you execute, this is your output. This is how queries will be executed. So what is the order of execution? First select command, then from clause. Clear everyone? See, again I will show you. Select. What to select? From where to select? From this table. Then give the column name, student name. So if you execute this query like this, you will be getting the output. Correct? So let's use the online compiler also to create the tables, because you must know how the online compiler works. Okay. So quickly I will go and open my online compiler. Okay, I hope it is visible. So I'll just search for SQL compiler. So if you don't have MySQL running, you can go with this one compiler, online compiler. Because sometimes in the interviews, they ask you to open the compiler. So at that time, if you have not used the compiler ever, you will get panic, guys. Okay. So you, to avoid this, will use it. Control A, delete everything. From here, you can select the server. Programming languages, no. Database, in that MySQL, I will select. So you can check MySQL, we have selected. Control A, delete everything. Now we are going to create the student table. Okay. So what query we have to write it? Create. Here we don't need to create the database because this is just online compiler. This tables won't be saved into our hard disk, guys. If you create the table using MySQL, now table is present into your hard disk. Okay. So we'll go back to the compiler. I'll just write create table. What is the table name? Student. Okay. Inside this, I have a student ID, integer data type. Next, I have a student name, varchar of 20. Next, let's say I have a student, date of birth. Data type, I will give date. What is the meaning of this date data type? We'll discuss. Student, marks. For marks, I'm going to give as a decimal. Okay. Now I will execute this. Sorry. I'll click on run button. So you can see query got executed because it has created the table, guys. That's all. Okay. So now next we'll insert the values. Insert into student values. Student ID is 101. Student name is, let's say, Akash. Student date of birth, see, date of birth we have to give as a string value in single quote. First, we will give year, let's say 1998. Month is, let's say 12 December. And date is 28. Okay, date of birth. Next, marks are 55.55 we will give. That's all. One more row if you want to insert, you can insert. I'll execute. Okay, values got inserted. Now next, select everything from student table. Now if I run this code, you got the student table, guys. That's all. So any raw data you can organize into proper tabular structure by writing the queries in SQL like this. So SQL, this is only your SQL. It is a language which we are using to communicate with MySQL software. So your MySQL software is helping us to create relational databases. This table itself is your relational database. So in the next class, in the next video, actually, we are going to understand the different data types, like what is char, what is int, what is date, decimal. So different data types we are going to explore. So in this video, make sure you will create the tables in online compiler also. You will be creating the tables in this workbench as well. So see you in the next video, guys. Thank you and have a good day to all.